Hey, that guy forgot to make an intro for his video. Let's talk about it. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out By the Vote from Koozies Games. This is for 2 to 5 players, age is 9+, it'll take you exactly 15 minutes to play. It is a time game. And in By the Vote, this is a political game, but I want to start right off from this get-go and say there's nothing political about this game at all, except for the fact of how the electoral college works. So if you're worried about, making your uncle go off on a tangent or something, don't worry, nothing in here like that. But in By the Vote is a really simple bidding game. We're going to start with, I think it's like $10 million. And then there's going to be some states that are going to be put out. And the states will have their delegate count on there. And everyone's going to then secretly bid behind these really exciting and well-made, he said sarcastically, player boards. Yes, these are so bland. And then you're going to reveal your vote all at once. The vote boards are actually really kind of cool. Let me grab one of those. But you're going to reveal it on this little vote board right here. And then whoever has the most money invested in that is going to win the said card. Put it up top here. And hopefully, after a certain number of rounds, have the most delegates. If they have the most delegates, then them and the second place player have a chance to win the entire game. Because if they hit 270 or whatever the number is, then they win the game. And that's how the game works. There's some other bells and whistles in here. There's some cards that a lot of hardcore gamers are really going to hate. The yellow cards, the swing state cards, which will then make it so that you get to steal anyone's state, and they're completely unprotected. So California, don't go crazy on California because it's going to get stolen like 6 times before the end of the game or whatever. But it does. Let's get into the pros. Let's get into the cons. I'm done talking about the game. Talking about that. But first on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. The first major one is it's a lightweight, filler weight game. It is 15 minutes, and it's timed. So you're actually just going to set a timer, and after 15 minutes, the game will end immediately. You just stop right where you're doing. And some people are not going to like that. It can add, an extra degree of stress to the game. There's also potentially people stalling and different things like that. And those are just going to turn off some people. Also, the component quality is not what you're going to want, especially considering this is the limited special edition. I think the only thing special edition about it is the gold. But I don't know. Like, this is after, I believe, 3 gameplays. It's starting to peel off on one of the boards. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's like starting to peel off, and it doesn't... Those boards don't feel quality, which is odd because everything else in the box really does feel quality. Like, these boards are super nice. I wish they were double-sided, but honestly, you're not going to turn around that often. The money is actually like these really nice, thick, sturdy cardboard pieces. It's just those boards are just cheap and chintzy, and they just kind of... They lower the appeal of the game just a slight bit, I think. I mean, because here's the thing. If you come into a game super excited about the game, and the game's good, you're much more likely to say, that was a great game. Likewise, if the game was great, and you come into it super stoked, you're like, wow, that was incredible, that was amazing. Whereas if you come into it down, and it's good, you're like, yeah, it was okay. It's just the mindset you come into it. And when you hand someone this player board, they're like, oh, yeah, cool. I mean, it just turned me off a little bit there. I didn't like the swing state cards. Well, I'm a little bit torn on the swing state cards. The swing state cards they make the game interesting. They make you really readjust how you look at the game. But that being said, if you played the game and you haven't played the game, like the first time you play the game, you'll realize, California, like, that's just going to get stolen. California and Texas, they're going to get stolen. Don't even think about it. It happens a lot. Those yellow cards get taken quite a good deal. And so it kind of changes how you play the game. And if you're first playing this game and you don't know that, you can completely screw yourself over. Just go completely crazy, get on California and say, all right, I got 55 million points. Because you get more money back later in the game, but you only get the money on certain rounds towards the tail end of the game. Like, so if you spend all your money early on, and then there's just like 2 or 3 rounds where you might do nothing. Like, you don't bid on anything because you don't have any money. And that's not fun. So you got to make sure that you tell people this in advance. And I wish they would have mentioned that in the video. Like, hey, and maybe they did, but I just didn't notice it. Just don't go crazy. Don't go crazy on your bids because it can lead to you doing absolutely nothing for a round or two, which did happen, unfortunately. Because even if you... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't think people are going to like about in this game. I don't think a lot of people are going to like the fact that when you bid, even if you lose your money. You know, I don't mind it. I actually enjoy it, but I think a lot of people... there it is. There's the disconnect. I think a lot of people who would be interested in a 15-minute lighter game don't want that sort of punishing gameplay. Whereas me, who's more used to like the 2.5-hour games or whatever, will say, all right, I'm punished pretty hardcore for like the next 15, 20 minutes for a turn or two. But then after that, you know, I'll reap the benefits of you know what I'm saying here? I just felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect there. Okay, I feel like I'm rambling on the cons. The bottom line is this is not a bad game. And I'm going to go on to the pros here. It's not a bad game, but I don't think most people are going to think it's a good game. Nobody I played it with was like overly enthused about the game, and nobody I played it with wanted the game after we were done. Because that's always a big bar that I do. And I say, not that I'm giving you this game, but would anyone want this game if I were going to give it away? I asked that. I said at both my game nights. And there was no takers. And that's what you need to know right there. Now, that being said, take that with a slight grain of salt because they're friends with me. Which means their gaming library is quite extensive. Like, they know they can just be like, hey, can I borrow this? I'm like, yeah, whatever. So take that with an asterisk. But still, moving on to the pros, I just think the game's okay. And I think most people are going to think the game's okay. Okay to good, in that range. But the component quality on one particular component, I think, is just going to inch it back just a little bit. And in the end, I just think this is going to be an ultimately very forgettable game. Because while I did enjoy my time with the game, I didn't enjoy my time with the game enough to want to come back to the game. And that's never good. So in the end, by the vote, I just don't think... I think it lacks that it factor, which stinks. Because I feel like it was on the right track. I think there's just maybe a tweak here or there that could have optimized the game, and I don't know what it would be. And that's just for me and my two groups. That being said, you know, this is what I like to say here. I played this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 7 different people, including myself. So, you know, that's 7 opinions that are not the hottest on it, and quite a few of them, in particular, Josiah, who is on Thoughts for the Corner, really do enjoy lighter weight games, and he wasn't the biggest fan of it as well. But there you go. If you want to check out that video, by the way, click on something up there. That is, by the vote, I award it no Native American statues, maybe in the expansion. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Also, if you want to support the channel in a cool way, click on that Amazon link down there. Go buy anything on Amazon. Anything. Absolutely anything at all. And I get a couple pennies out of it. It's kind of crazy how that works. But it really does help out the channel. And as always, in the comments below, let me know. I'm working on the outro. I got to fine-tune this outro right here. It's pretty bad. In the comments below, let me know what's a game that you would like to see a 15-minute version of. So they take the game, shrink it down to its most bare bones components. The bare bones mechanisms. What would it be? 15-minute game. I'm trying to think of what would even be doable. I feel like Twilight Imperium, I say that for a lot of these answers, but I don't think that's what I want. Because Twilight Imperium, a 15-minute Twilight Imperium experience just isn't good. It's just, I don't want that. I think, oh my goodness. I just had an idea for a board game. I want Dominion, but I want a 15-minute version of it. How does that work? I don't know. But I like the idea of it. But there you go. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.